family planning as one of the 10 greatest public health achievements in 20th century. It was so true. It was the most important prerequisite for achieving the UN MDG goals. And we have to remember that family planning averts 32% of all maternal deaths and nearly 10% of childhood deaths. So, contraceptive and family planning services and supplies are the core components of essential health services, and access to these services is a fundamental human right. So, contraception must be available to people when they want it and where they want it. This was a FIGO statement on the 13th of April amidst the COVID pandemic. So, we need to look at now the current scenario of contraception and family planning. When I just look into the recent history, many of you would have heard of the Ebola epidemic in the 2013 to 16 in the Western Africa. Contraception and routine maternal health care actually dropped dramatically. The three delays in obstetric care were exacerbated, the reluctance to come for antenatal, postnatal, and family planning. There were an estimated 3,600 maternal deaths, neonatal deaths, and stillbirths, which were equal to the number of deaths directly caused by the Ebola virus. So that shows how relevant it is that we offer the best of obstetric and family planning services, maternal health services to our women, because whatever the pandemic, if we actually take it easily, we will land up in unwinding what has been done in the past decade in trying to reduce the maternal morbidity and mortality. So this pandemic and its consequences and the restrictive containment measures put in place by many countries have the potential to negatively affect access to the essential services. So we have seen how this COVID-19 had affected abortion in the present time, and the lockdown has seen an unprecedented impact on women's ability to access abortion. In addition to whatever it is, what we felt was this, we need to look at the repurposing of the public health facilities. We have seen that all the facilities became COVID centers. Now, it is only one thing we see is COVID, COVID, COVID. Every other problem has actually gone into a back burner. And every facility staff have been removed from the regular duties and put into the COVID-19 care. This closure of the private health services, which is slowly unlocking, but all this had caused a disruption in the supply chain of the drugs. And this caused chaos in the present issue. So the main issue, with the focus on the provision of adequate healthcare for all those falling ill from the virus, and in search for the cure of virus, we are actually forgetting that immunization and family planning services are worst affected, not only in India, but globally. So we have to see the unmet needs of contraception and family planning services, which have actually increased manifold. We have seen, when you look at all the how abortion care was affected, there was a small study which was done by IPAS, and they found that access to about 1.85 million abortions were there in the 3 months. That is end of March, April, May. This was a study which was found to be done in June. And when access to the safe abortion is denied, we find that what happens from the first trimester, there's a continuity to a second increase in second trimester abortions, safe to unsafe abortions, more than 20 weeks, again, legal limits of abortion, and unfortunately, sometimes continuation of an unwanted pregnancy. And sometimes whether it is a chemist or facility-based abortion is what we need to look at. So the adverse effects of the COVID-19 was, in the present scenario, the supply chain of the contraceptives was affected. The manufacture of the methods themselves, for example, condoms, everyone started putting their brains into how to manufacture the masks, the PPEs and the kits because they were the need of the hour. And the delayed transport of what was already done. The equipment and staff involved were also diverted. But family planning still needs to be there even during the pandemic for whatever time it may last. We have to note when the contraceptive prevalence increased from less than 10% to 60% and total fertility rate decreased from 6 to less than 3. Over 1 million maternal deaths were averted between the 1990 and 2005 because of these two factors. That shows the importance of contraception, family planning on maternal health. The impact of contraception, the Guttmacher Institute had made some calculations, and They have said because of the unavailable providers, additional 48 million women will have unmet need for contraception worldwide, and 15 million unintended pregnancies, and 3+ million resorting to unsafe abortion practices. So, friends, that is the estimate of the impact of this on the present scenario. And when there's a 10% shift of abortion from safe to unsafe, there are additional 1,000 maternal deaths. 10% is the minimum estimate. It can go up to 80%. So we have to understand the significance of this contraception in the present scenario. This would actually set the world back in what we have achieved by the Millennium Development Goals and will make the challenge of meeting the Sustainable Developmental Goals more difficult. We have seen the impact of the family planning program in this present era. And most likely, India will lose out on nearly 7 lakh sterilization, 9+ lakhs of IUD insertions, and nearly 6 lakhs doses of injectable contraception. 1,743 maternal deaths, which could have been averted. Access denied. Family planning measures are very hard to come by during this period, even though the lockdown has been completely overcome slowly, but still, this maternal deaths is not acceptable by us. The challenges for the first-time users of contraception, we find that almost the first-time users of almost all contraceptive methods require eligibility clearance of the healthcare provider, and initiation of contraception has become hampered. Post-abortion acceptance of methods got impacted. And there are 3 solutions to every problem. Accept it, change it, or leave it. If you can't accept, change it. If you can't change it, leave it. But can we leave it? We as obstetricians, we as Foxians cannot leave this. So we have to find solutions for this problem. So continuing essential sexual, reproductive, maternal, neonatal, child, and adolescent health services during the pandemic is the need of the hour. So a gender lens is very critical, and response must be gender responsive. We have to acknowledge the rights of the women and girls and vulnerable people. That's the most needed. So we need to define and promote the sexual and reproductive health and facilitate delivery services at people's home if possible, improve access without prescription, make it an OTC product. So we have to make contraception and abortion care essential. Policymakers must define and promote sexual and reproductive health, including safe abortion contraception. Foxy was very happy because in January, our Prime Minister, Shri Narendra Modi, had actually talked about family planning, and this made a difference because that shows that government is committed, and it makes that contraception is definitely an essential medical service. The supply issues, even UNFPA had estimated that we had a talk, and in the meeting they were saying for the next 6 months, there are 46 countries who are going to be affected because of the stockouts, be it the implants, be it the copper IUCDs, be it the injectables or the OC pills. So at this same time, we have seen there was a rise in domestic violence. Nationwide helplines you need to have in place to ensure family planning advice and adequate supply of contraceptives. In fact, the family planning kits have been home delivered in UP's Balia district, and that could be actually used in the other states also. Currently, the telemedicine practice guidelines issued by the ICMR does not mention reproductive health services. We have to look into it and make sure that telemedicine has to include this contraceptive advice in our day-to-day practice. I was just listening to the Jaideep's talk. My father got a phone. He's an ENT surgeon from one patient who said, "Sir, will you do a video consulting?" My dad is a generation above. He said, "No video consultation. Unless I see you, you may have anything. You may have a tumor in your throat. You may have a problem." So he was not ready. So from that generation, we are evolving now to this telemedicine where we have to make it possible to give our women an access to contraception. So use the digital media. Implement it. Now everyone has a mobile phone. Social media, everyone has thousands and lakhs of people who have access to it. So technology be to used, and digital health services is a need of our to deliver the contraceptive advice to our women. So advice to the woman is a useful resource, is FSRH. And we know we are offering very limited contacts in the antenatal period. So Contacted prenatal care include counseling on birth spacing, the lactation amenorrhea, condoms, PPIUCs, the injectables, and telehealth and progesterone-only pills. So FICO's Contraception and Family Planning Committee actually joins other health authorities and FOXI to voice the urgency with which maternity units across the globe need to turn their attention to offering and providing immediate postpartum family planning to all consenting women at discharge. The lactation amenorrhea method, renewed focus on the postpartum family planning options. There are so many. There are many family planning which doesn't affect breastfeeding. The long acting reversible contraception, use it as a means in this time of need. Use the postpartum IUCD injectables, the PPIUCD project. This is a fantastic project, but the only defect is this PPICD has been used in only most of the government sector, and the private sector has been actually left out. I think it's time to revoke where we bring the private sector also back into this PPICD and use it to the benefit of our women. So what is an ideal contraceptive? 100% effective, safe, convenient? It's absolutely impossible, but we try to find out what is an ideal contraceptive, and we have found that now IUCD, the immediate postpartum period, is coming back, be it a normal delivery or a cesarean section delivery. So the technique need to be taught to our healthcare workers. And remember, it's a cost-effective, prolonged birth control. And healthcare providers need to wear the necessary PPE in providing healthcare and use the social, the ANMs and all. Now they do have this some small group or distance maintaining conversations where they can help the patients and friends. This has led to an increase in the gender-based violence and violence against women, which also affected the contraception. And we need to look at it how we can help the women. And emergency contraception, please see that emergency contraception is available to our women. And this is the best way we can help our women in this time. And effective task shifting or task sharing between the healthcare providers may be the need of ours. We can't keep it close to our heart. We need to use our healthcare providers other than the gynecologists to help us at this time of the pandemic, even in PPIUCD. So some of the queries, if you cannot access contraceptive method of choice, probably because it requires prescription, we have to see what are the other ways where the women can have access. Sometimes they may call you asking that they have had a long-acting method like an implant or IUD, and they're not able to reach you. Probably tell them that 1 or 2 months may not make a difference, and they can continue and come back. Very important. I am a policy maker. What can I do to make sure the people have access to the contraception and family planning information? Develop innovative strategies, utilize the digital technology, and please make sure that you relax the restrictions and focus not only on the postpartum and post-abortion periods. See that every time you get an opportunity, talk about contraception. Future challenges need to improve the readiness of the public and private health system to meet the surge in the family planning and abortion services, and strengthening the involvement of social marketing organizations and NGO services delivery organization. So for the long-term strategy perspective, capacity building to ensure uninterrupted delivery of sexual reproductive health services must be built into the epidemics and disaster management policies. There are several important lessons for the policymakers to learn from the pandemic. One being the gender concern tends to become unseen at such time, but neglecting them can pose catastrophic consequence to millions of vulnerable women. So family planning could bring more benefits to more women at less cost than any other single technology now available to the human race. So friends, even though we are having the current challenges, I think it is time that we focus on how contraception can be reached out to all our women across the country. Thank you very much. I hope all our friends in Calicut, we just heard about it yesterday, it was shocking. I really hope God really gives great strength to the families to face this I don't know what situation to say. Thank you very much.